So here we are, the long awaited, at least for me, book recommendation video. I have 6 new books that I need to talk to you guys about. I need to recommend them to you guys. I enjoyed all of them except for one I wouldn't really recommend, but I'm still gonna put it in here because it might be more interesting to someone else. Our first book we have today is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I have literally read every single book she has already between this book, Beach Read, and then Book Lovers, which I'll get into here in a minute, which is actually her newest one. I would personally give it a 4 out of 5. I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it, but it is definitely a book that I wouldn't mind reading again. I would recommend reading it during summer though. I feel like it just kind of adds to the vibe since this mainly takes place on vacation and in summer. But to not give away too much about the book, basically is there's these 2 best friends, Poppy and Alex, and they have nothing in common. They're like polar opposites, so they've been best friends for like so many years, and every summer they go on trips together. And this is very much a romance, so if you're into romance books, definitely check this one out. But one summer something drastic happens between the 2 where they like stop speaking for a while until they eventually come together again. That's all I'm gonna say about this book. I don't want to give too much away about them. For our next book, ladies and gentlemen, this book is just, it blew me away. It was such a good book. I kept seeing it every time I went to Target, and I was like, you know what? This is the last one on the shelf that I'm seeing right now. I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna literally buy it. And this is The Other Black Girl. This is such a good book. It's a fictional book. This book may not be for everyone though, I will say that. I personally will rate this book a 6 out of 5. I really like this book. I feel like this book, especially for black women or black girls, definitely recommend it for you guys because, or even us, because you'll just understand it a lot more. If you are black and you are a girl or a woman, I would definitely recommend this for you, or even if you're not. But I really like it. Essentially, it is about this 26-year-old like editor assistant, and her name is Nella Rogers, and she's the only black girl where she works, and she has been for the longest time until a new black girl named Hazel May McCall starts working at the same place she works at right next to her. So it's very different because Hazel grew up more in Harlem, where Nella, she didn't have that kind of background. Like, she grew up more in like a safer neighborhood and stuff in New York. Something happens when Nella receives a note on her desk that literally says, "Leave Wagner now." And she received the note on a day where she was working late. She was the only one there that she knew of, and she didn't know who put the random, almost like, I wouldn't say ransom note, but just the random sticky note on her desk. She doesn't know who put it there. She doesn't know if it could be Hazel. She doesn't know if it could be an outside source. She literally just doesn't know. But all she knows is whoever this is telling her to leave where she works at right now, even though she's been working there for quite a few years. So it's very interesting. It definitely shows how being black plays into a workplace or just in a career and stuff like that. But me personally, I would recommend it. Our next book, it wasn't horrible, let me tell you that. It is a fictional novel, and this is The Midnight Library. This book is so interesting. I will say it really has you look at life in a different way, and it really makes you feel like you really need to live every moment in life to the fullest and like not regret any mistakes in your past, and just truly go for what you want in life and accomplish what you want in life. So I do like that part of the book because it kind of really makes you think about stuff like that. Overall, it was kind of slow. I will say that too. It was a little slow, especially at the beginning. The ending was pretty interesting from what I remember. What this book is about is the Midnight Library is almost based on a place between life and death. The main character, Nora Seed, lived a life like basically full of misery and regret, but now when she finds herself in the Midnight Library, she essentially gets to go through every book of how she could have changed her life to see how the outcome would have been different, or if she would have been more happy. So it is really interesting, I will say that. I will rate this one a 4.5 out of 5. Now, for all you Colleen Hoover readers, fans, whatever, you guys probably know about this book already, might have even read it already, and that book is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I have read Ugly Love, It Ends With Us, November 9th, and this book, but I will say till this day, Ugly Love is still my favorite, which is the first one I ever read from her. Ugly Love is still probably gonna forever be my favorite, so if you haven't read that one and you like romance books, I would read it. If I were you, I would read it again. But essentially, Verity is about this writer, Lowen, who is offered like a job of a lifetime, and she's a writer, but she's struggling to figure out what she wants to write about. She's kind of in like a brainstorming stage of where she wants to take her writing career. So Jeremy Crawford is husband to Verity Crawford, and she is a best-selling author, but unfortunately she got into an accident, so she couldn't finish this series that she started. So Jeremy figured it would be good to hire Lowen to finish and complete the series, but when Lowen gets there, she uncovers something very interesting that has nothing to do with the series at all, and has everything to do with Verity's life before the accident. So it's very interesting and chaotic for sure. It is a little bit of a romance, but I would also place it under fiction and almost like thriller or mystery, I would say. But it's very psychological, I will say that. But I would rate it a 5 out of 5. Next book. I don't know how I feel about this book. I kept telling myself that I saw like everyone, well not everyone, but a few of my friends were talking about how they read it or how they bought the book. I think last year actually. I don't know how I thought someone told me it was a really good book. I don't know why I kept putting that into my mind, because I'm pretty sure no one told me that, and people just said it was a very interesting book. That book is Normal People by Sally Rooney, and it is a fictional novel, but it was just not what I was expecting at all. I mean, it's very real, it's very raw. It left me unsatisfied, you know? I don't know how else to describe it other than that, but essentially it's about these two students, Connell and Marianne, that grew up in the same small town. Connell was very popular and well liked, where Marianne was very shy and not popular or well liked. But something happens between them once they have a very awkward conversation, and that's all I'll really say about this. It's very interesting, but I would only rate it a 3 out of 5, if that, maybe even a 2 out of 5. And our last book, almost saving the best for last, I'm just kidding, but that book is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Where do I even start with this book? I will say I did cry a little, just a little, but Book Lovers, I would for sure rate it a 6 out of 5. It is definitely a romance. Essentially, it's about this one character, Nora Stevens. She's not an author, but she edits books. Like, she's an editor for authors, and she lives in New York. She's very, like, how do I describe her? Like, almost independent, I would say, like, very independent, has her routine, has what she likes, like, she knows what she likes, and she doesn't like getting out of her I wouldn't say like getting out of her comfort zone, but she just doesn't, like, when she knows what she likes sticking with it, I guess is a way I can describe that. Her little sister Libby, wants to go on a little vacation with her to this very small town called Sunshine Falls, North Carolina. But Libby literally begs her sister to go with her because her sister is very much a city girl and very much a workaholic and doesn't like going on trips a lot or like just being away from work. And the thing about this place that they actually go to, one of the authors that Nora works for or with actually wrote a book based in that small town. So it all kind of just ties together. Plot twist happens when Nora bumps into one of her rivals, almost like one of her work rivals, Charlie Lastra, because let's just say they didn't have a good past when it comes to work, at least, and almost just in general. Like, their first impressions of each other were not really good. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that one. I don't want to give it away too much. I do definitely like this book as well. But yeah, those are all the books that I have to share with you guys today. I do definitely want to buy a lot more books. I have a lot of books on my TBR list. It's not even funny. If you guys have any book recommendations that you want to give me, definitely comment them down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, why not give it a like? Also subscribe down below and comment down below to be one of my next video shout outs, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.